attention to it. I'm sure it's going to come to Arizona. Joining us now, the sports professor joins us on the Right Toyota guest line, Rick Horrow. He joins us now on the Right Toyota guest line. How we doing, Rick? What's going on, buddy?
A little tardy. I owe you 2 minutes of my life, but I was on with a named coach who I will not name. You know, people always kind of do that, but I was really there, and we were talking about Nick Saban. And my choice was cut him short, be a little rude, just to be on with you, or cut you short, be a little rude, and I care very little. So what do you think?
Wow. You're always big leaguing us. Always big leaguing us.
I know. I'm big leaguing you more than you know, but I'll never admit it, except for now.
Yeah, you feel you're out there in Miami. You feel good about your Dolphins this week, heading up to Kansas City?
Well, you know that's tongue-in-cheek, but I will tell you this. I feel much better about their chances of beating Buffalo twice in a row in Miami than I do losing would have felt terrible about that. Kansas City game, maybe the coldest game in history. Chiefs can't catch. The Dolphins running backs are going to get healthy again. You know, I don't think he has to throw the ball 40 times to beat the Chiefs. I am sticking with my guns here. Look, if you get points, you ought to take them because I believe it's going to be a close game, and I don't care what anybody says.
All right, Rick, there's so many storylines today. Of course, Bill Belichick, Saban, Carroll, Aaron Rodgers, Pat McAfee show, but something hit us that we are kind of going back and forth because we're in this industry. ESPN getting busted in this fake Emmy scam, and names like Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, all got awards, even though they were under fake names to get them. Is there any punishment that could come down from somewhere to ESPN, or are they going to just kind of get to move on with business as usual?
Well, if you're a lawyer and you were devising a hypothetical,
you
know, there are kind of fraud claims about that stuff.
Okay.
But it's a private entity and, you know, misleading everybody. And it's not the best thing in the world. But when you think about it, it's just another black mark. And, you know, nobody's going to jail over this. It's just kind of a really, really bad situation that, you know, we still haven't heard everything about it. There may be other sides of this. I doubt it. But, you know, everybody's going to pile on ESPN, and they may deserve it.
And, Rick, you're speaking of the Nick Sabans of the world, Bill Belichick, even Pete Carroll. Boy, what a duel it was yesterday, and then today to add to the trifecta. What kind of impact, whether it's football-wise, economic-wise, what have you, do those three individuals have on the actual game of football?
The goat farm, man.
Yeah.
All of those guys heading to the exit at the same time.
Yeah.
And you know who I feel sorry for? You know, you go through the power rankings every year and you figure out, or every week, Mike Vrabel moved from the number one power ranking top coaching candidate in the world to now number 4. The poor guy, right? Now he's behind all of those other guys are going to move around. And you know, he may not even be the number one Patriots choice. So, well, we may see him in the booth. There's so much intrigue now that's going to go on with this whole thing that it's, you know, really interesting.
I'm real curious. Where's Jim Harbaugh in all of this? With your information, does he stay or does he wait and see what the NCAA delivers on him and then make a decision?
Oh, I don't think the NCAA issue, I don't think it's over, but it's mostly over would be my prediction. I unless there's something going on that I really haven't heard. I've talked to a lot of people. I do think that it's the sky's the limit for him. Question is he ready to hop back in? You know, unlike Nick Saban, who's done. I can't imagine him going anywhere. The rumor I heard in the last 40 minutes is he's going to the Falcons. He's not going to step into another NFL deal, I don't think. But now Harbaugh may, you know, and maybe it's now giving his brother time to shine in Baltimore, and then there may be competition again. So I do not know. I remember last time I tried to find out was, you know, through my buddy Steve Ross because of the Michigan connection. And Steve, you know, funded the Michigan Business School and on and on and on. Problem with that is that they were tracing his you know, private plane number to go out to Stanford to talk to him when the Dolphins needed a coach. I think guys are going to sit for a little while and try to figure the biggest offer among Vegas, and the Chargers and the other 6. I don't consider the Tennessee Titans one of the 8 because the rumor I heard is that tomorrow they're announced that they're going to be relegated to the CFL because they're so loud.
Rick Horrow, the sports professor, joining us here on Fox Sports 910. Rick, have you heard the future for Bill Belichick in regards to he had a year under his belt still his contract, and if he goes to say Atlanta or wherever he goes, would they pay for half of it or pay for a portion of it? Do you have any idea how his contract is set up, knowing that he still had a year left?
No, but I do believe, unlike the Amy Adams Strunk immediate firing of Vrabel, and realizing that means she's got to pay him, and I knew she knew, but
yeah.
She was willing to pay that cost. I think that there is a discussion about stepping away, fired, not fired, and so any one of those candidates, there would be a discussion about, well, let's go back to the Patriots and see what they want to contribute to this. I don't think it's an open and shut thing, and I also don't think we're going to hear a lot about that because if I'm the agent or representing the owner, I keep those discussions really quiet until I'm ready to make an announcement.
And we always talk about the NIL deals that are out there. I'm just curious if you had heard reference to Saban that maybe he's getting a little tired of because he's a recruiting machine. But all these other factors have crept in the last couple of years, Rick.
3.
I just wonder if that might have been worn on him the last few years. That he's now got to compete with the A&Ms of the world, the Florida States of the world, that might have contributed to the resignation, or I should say the retirement.
Well, yeah, I do. But I think, when last year's deals, he was proud to talk about how his quarterback last year was one of the first, $1 million NIL guys. So he was out front talking about the system as opposed to, your buddy from Clemson who was talking about how it was the work of the devil and it wouldn't work and it shouldn't happen. So, Dabo would be the guy who you would think would be the, anti-NIL. But at the end of the day, I think Nick Saban was prepared to live with the system. I don't think he liked it as much. And, he clearly didn't have a clear path to the top kids as he used to under the, now the Kirby Smart. Let's see what happens with you. And the same thing with Dabo to some extent. And now the Michigan piece. Did he think it was too tough? I don't think he's walking away from it because it's tough. I do think at the end of the day, let's remember all these guys that retired this yesterday and today are over 70. That doesn't mean that we're ready to, do a eulogy. Mm-hmm. It just means that, you can get kind of tired out and you may be recharged. So they may be back. I think Pete Carroll's coming back. I don't know where. And, I wouldn't put it past, and Harbaugh's not in that category. I'm just talking about, Saban, Belichick, and Carroll. And I don't know about Saban. I really don't.
Rick, we'll leave you with this one, last one, in regards to what went on this week with Aaron Rodgers, the Pat McAfee show, Jimmy Kimmel. How much of this is for clicks and viewers and just a reason to have a little quarrel in the media and get some attention?
Well, I don't know if it was contrived, but I do think that there is an issue. There's one way to look at it where agents get together and say, let's stir up some crap because it would help both of us. Mm-hmm. And then there's the other one that says, well, let's let them both go at it, but let's not quiet it because it's going to help us. And I think it's a little bit of the latter. I think they're both opinionated enough where they're going to go at it. And most people want to keep that stuff out of the media. I do think in that case, there might've been a little of that. And I watched McAfee with bated breath yesterday. I was one of those groupies. And I don't, it's great. Aaron Rodgers is entitled to his opinion. After 20 minutes, I don't want to hear about the vaccine studies he read.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good stuff. Hey, as always, buddy, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
All right, man. I'm going to put my parka on. KC, Kansas City. Here we go.
There you go. That's Rick Horrow, the sports professor. Check him out, rickhorrow.com. And always on Twitter at Rick Horrow, the sports business report.